today's topic is Bardo. So Bardo basically means in between. In between, between this and that. For example, 12 o'clock will be between breakfast and dinner, will be lunch. That is a Bardo of lunch. So basically, that. So Bardo is, but to understand Bardo and kind of importance of Bardo, I personally feel that first question that we all have to ask ourselves is, do we believe in next life? Do we believe in the past life, next life or not? That is the first question. If you don't really believe in that, then the Bardo doesn't make any sense. So the question is, how do we know there is a past life? If you're Buddhist, it's very simple. Buddha said so. And he has no reason to lie, right? If your father says you are born in 1985, you believe it because your father has no reason to lie, no incentive to lie. So yes, that is one way, sure. And in terms of Buddha saying, Buddha has said it, many people don't realize it, but Bardo is actually not just Vajrayana, but in the Theravada also. For example, in the Theravada, Abhidhammakoka speaks about Bardo, but not very detailed. Mahayana does too, but Vajrayana is very detailed, even like how you can kind of navigate a little bit, in the Bardo, etc. So, second thing about next life, conscious exists or not, is I guess you have to be more in the countries which is more in the Himalayan area or Buddhist countries. I'm sure in China also I used to hear, but for example in Bhutan, Kingdom of Bhutan where I stay, next life is something that I would say 90% believe. And the reason for that is because there are many people who remember their past life. If you come to, it's not something that is only related to some villages. Even in the capital, there are many children from young age, they can remember before they died here. That is, they are young children, but they can remember their past life, wife, husband, the names, So it is a kind of very common there. And I'm sure it is common everywhere, but I think in developed countries, if your child says like that, you will probably shush them up, or take them to a psychiatrist. But I think it's common everywhere. But another kind of, the logically speaking, is that everything has a, you can trace things back. Everything has an origin. For example, before it was 8 o'clock, it was 7, then 6, then 5. You can trace back the time. Even your movement, you can, if you move your hand from here to here, it looks immediately, but actually you can trace it back. So similarly, we can trace our body back also. If you trace your body back, you are now, 20, 30, 40. You can check every second, you can trace it back. And you can trace your body back to your father and mother's essence. Right? And that's, when they two met in mother's womb, then we became body. Similarly, we can trace our consciousness back too. For example, you are thinking, feeling like this, before that you were thinking like that, and then chain of thought can be traced back. But that chain of thought cannot be traced back to father and mother. Because if you trace back, that means you were either in your father's leg or a mother's hip or somewhere, Where were you? Right? Where if the consciousness came from your father, parent? Or you have to say that suddenly it just happened. Then you are saying there's no logic, you are basically saying that, you are suddenly came here, this place. Suddenly this mandala is here, without any reason. So if you trace back, you can trace your physical body to your parent, but your consciousness cannot be traced back to your parent. Yet at the same time, you can't say it just came out of nothing. So that is why we say that consciousness is traced back to the previous life chains of consciousness. And our body also, when it's gone, the chain of thought, consciousness continues. So Buddhism doesn't really talk about soul, because soul is something that is unchangeable, immutable, something that is, where you can identify as ultimate existing. I am, this is my soul. But rather Buddhism teaches a chain of consciousness. And that chain is what is so-called considered, what passes from present life to next, etc. So that is why we say that if you are, from Buddhist point of view, everybody is reincarnated, Rinpoche. You are all reincarnated. Of what? We don't know, right? Hopefully something good, but where you have reincarnated and where you are going to reincarnate also we don't know. So the question is, if you have reincarnated, are you the same person? You are not. Are you different? You are also not. For example, even right now, forget our reincarnation. Are we the same person we were before dinner? We are not. Every second our bodies are changing. Every second how many chain of thoughts happening. We are not the same person. Forget about the past life. Yet at the same time, we are not totally different. The continuation is the same. So that's why karma affects. So that is why as a Buddhist, we talk about how the previous life cause condition have affected this life, and the present life cause condition affects the future, the karma in past life, future, death, prayer, and all of that. So that is why from Buddhist point of view, death is not really an escape. It is just a beginning of another headache, and whatever difficulty you are going through, you don't really escape from it. Rather, the consequence of whatever action we are doing has to be born in another form. So that is why there is no really, death is not a real escape. So talking of Bardo means in between. So generally speaking, there's a 3 type of Bardo. And then you can divide it into 6 categories. The first type of Bardo is called Kene Bardo. That means from the moment you are born till you are dead, till we die, till the the process of the death starts, the signs, etc. It is called the in between birth and the death. Right? And among all the other Bardos, this is the most important Bardo is right now. We don't really seem to think about it, but if you give an example, it is like we are flying from Singapore to New York. And in between on the plane, we are busy getting married, having children, building house. Even though, you are never staying, you are constantly flying. But the flight is a bit long, so you are even though you are constantly flying, you have, busy building up so many castles and so many things, Even though you are still in the journey, you are constantly journey. And you kind of forget that you are on the journey, and you are worrying about your house, your family, whatever, right? So that it is a journey is something that is very, very easy to see. Just look back at your past 10 years, past 5 years, past this morning, past just few where you had dinner, and now where it is. That's because you are on a constant journey between when you are born and the time for death comes. So this is, that journey is even as we speak, we are constantly moving, right? In the journey between the Bardo. And this Bardo is the most important because whatever we do during this journey, whatever we can affect our consciousness, this is the same consciousness that will go to the next consciousness. Right? For example, it is said that in the Bardo, we see a lot of very scary things, scary beings, scary sounds, etc. And that actually scary things is a reflection of our own fear and anger that we have right now. Only thing is right now we have a physical, kind of body, so we can say that we can sometimes get lost in the thought and we have so many fears, anxiety, but then we can kind of pinch ourselves, so no, this is my imagination. This is not real. But in the Bardo, you don't have the physical realm, so that becomes, what you are thinking is this is real. There's now no physical kind of thing to, so-called differentiate between the real and unreal. So and among all the Bardos, it is this Bardo between the life and the death is the most easy to, it is more easy to, because we have physical body, it is more easy to kind of, keep ourselves grounded. and practice. This is the best time. Because once in the Bardo time, there's in the Bardo, the physical body is not there. So mind, mind is like a playing havoc with us. For example, recently there was earthquake in Nepal. So, His Holiness, my teacher, His Holiness Gyawan Drupa, was jokingly telling us, telling the nuns, all of us, when the earthquake happened, I'm sure you guys must have run out very quickly, which is very good. But did you run out of fear or with awareness? Because if you quickly just if we have the tendency that if you see a mouse or a spider, without any kind of reason, you just feel fear and you just react. So that is exactly what is going to happen during the Bardo time. Because even though spider is something that is very small, but our imagination makes it into something very scary, and fear becomes so real, so thick. So even in this life, if you have ability to, when, for example, if you're afraid of, we all have different fears of snake, spider, financial loss, whatever. Whenever that we are going through this fear, instead of just reacting to the fear, to see where it is coming from. Why am I so scared of the fear? What is the color, nature of the fear? Just, like they say, you have nothing to fear but the fear itself. Right? So this is something that if you can able to now, then you have, in Bardo we have a chance. So anyway, among the three Bardos, the first Bardo is called the Bardo between life and death, which is we are in right now. And right now we are in that journey. Every second, every minute we are constantly moving. So that is the Bardo. And in this Bardo we have two subcategories. One is called the dream Bardo. So dream Bardo is when you sleep and you don't wake up, until you wake up. This is called the intermediate stage, in between sleeping and waking up. So from the normal life point of view, we say that dream is kind of not real and life is real. But from the Buddha's point of view, dream and the life are equally unreal. Right? So we might say, no, how can that be? But if you think about it, there's two qualities. For example, dream is real until you get up. Until you don't get up, it's very real for you. You can cry, you can feel sad. Similarly, our experience of life is real until it's over. Right? Today was real until tonight. And tonight is real until tomorrow morning. That's why. Similarly, second thing, similarity between the dream and life is that in a dream, as long as you believe it, some lucky people, they kind of, this is a dream. Then it's not too much effect. But more 99% of us is very real for us. We don't know it's a dream. We believe it to be real, and it is real. Similarly, in this life also, everything's real because we believe it to be. This is believed to be temple, so today it's become belief, right? When we see things, as I was saying earlier, the Tara also, we have the thinking that it is my eyes that sees beautiful flower, it's my ear that can hear complimentary, but that's not really true. What we are really see with our mind sees beautiful, our mind sees friend, enemies, likes and dislike. Our mind here is complimentary. Is our mind decide, this is a happiness, this is a suffering? Is our mind decide? If outside our mind there is not some, I don't think that beauty or something that exists externally. So that is why Buddha has said that as dream is real, dream and life is exactly, both are equally real or equally unreal. There is no difference. Right? So that is called dream Bardo. And then the other Bardo, which is part of the between, is something happening inside the life and death, is called the meditation Bardo, which is someone who are very, very highly realized in the meditation. They can go in such a deep stage that, normal, very strong thoughts and consciousness kind of, dissipates. And then until that, again the normal ordinary concept thought comes. That is called the meditation Bardo. So these are part of the life and the dead Bardo. Now the second Bardo, among the three Bardo, second Bardo is called Chike Bardo. Chike Bardo means the Bardo when we are about to, when the signs of deaths, when we are about to die comes. So for example, it is said that normally we say that if you have three things, we call it merit, life energy, and life energy, merit, and karma. As long as these three are there, it is possible to extend our life. You can do medicine Buddha, Amitaya Buddha, go to doctor, etc. But when these three are gone, even medicine Buddha himself cannot help you. Right? If a candle has been, blown and there's still the wick is there, you can do something, but everything is finished. There's nothing you can do about it. So, for example of these three not finishing is, if your karma to remain as a human being is not yet over, you will still be reborn back as a human being. If your merit is not finished, that means that if your merit is finished, that means even though you are as a human being, but you have so much poverty, so much difficulty, because your merit has decreased. Finish. And your life energy is, of course, what sustains our life. So if these three are finished, they said very difficult. Other than that, it is possible to extend. So anyway, when these three are finished, and then it is said that it doesn't matter whether you're old or young, but when the Chika Bardo, the Bardo of the death starts from the time when the five elements starts to dissolve. So because our human body is made of the five elements, so as the time for death comes, these elements stopped supporting us and dissolve into each other. So among the five elements, it is said that the first element to dissolve will be of course, I think when we are sick and all of that, will be the earth element. So earth element dissolves into the water element. So when the earth element dissolves, it is said that body becomes very heavy. So when you are about to die, body becomes very heavy. You cannot move. You can find it very difficult to move and make a movement. You feel very heavy. So that is the earth element has stopped supporting you, stopped working. And then the second element is the water element. When the water element starts to shut down, it is said that there's a dryness in the throat. So the throat becomes dry, mouth becomes dry. It's very difficult to speak. There's many people who are about to die. They say they feel very thirsty. They want some water, but no matter. They can't. The dryness, and sachu. And then the third element that dissolves is called the fire element. So when the fire element dissolves, it is said that our heat in the body starts to dissipate. We have no more, we feel very cold. No matter how much clothes you are wearing, you cannot feel warm. And somehow or other, there's no warmth left in the body. And when the warmth leaves us also, it is said there's two ways it leaves. One is warmth goes from the top and then goes down from the leg. One is the warmth goes from the leg and then goes, ends from the head. And it is said in the sutras that this is an indication of where the person is going to be reborn. If person are going to be reborn lower realm, then usually the heat goes down, and vice versa to upper realm. And then the fourth element to dissolve is sa, chu, me, the wind. So when the wind, I think the wind element starts to shut down, then the body movements, and then I think the ability to talk, the etc. we are unable to do. And then it is, I don't know whether it's applicable to everybody, but traditionally masters say that when the wind leaves the body, there's outer, inner, but when the outer wind leaves the body, it is, we usually, masters say that firstly there's a lot of short breathing, like, like that. And then there will be like a few long breathings, like very long breathing, and then one long breath out, and then it's gone, right? So one of my, when I was studying in my university, I have a very funny monk with me. He used to tell me, "Oh, Rinpoche, do you know that somebody has died? Very, very strange way." And I said, "How?" He stopped breathing. No? So that is all it takes. Really, there's no music, there's no nothing. Really, just that. That's it. You can't breathe in. So. And then, but from the Bardo teaching point of view, it is said that even though externally breathing has stopped, consciousness has not yet left the body. There's some internal breathing, internal air is still left in the body, and there is a process of shutting down of the emotions into the we call namka, sky, or the spaciousness. It is said that, for example, desire dissolves into anger, dissolves into the desire dissolves into ignorance, and ignorance dissolves into this, the spaciousness, the nature of the mind, Buddha nature of the mind. And those who have been practicing in your daily life, who are doing the Mahamudra, Dzogchen nature of the mind, and at that moment when naturally mind goes into the nature, if you do your daily practice, that is the time you can recognize what is happening and get enlightened. That is possible. It is called clear light meeting of mother and the son. The son is what we have been practicing daily, and then the mother is what is happening naturally. So if you can recognize it, it is called getting enlightened in the Dhammakaya. Very difficult for people like us, but it is possible. And in some countries like Himalaya, Bhutan, etc., we call it, this master is in the Tukdam. That means that after the master has died, still they're in a meditation posture. And sometimes and the warmth usually is in the heart. So one way we checking is whether master is in the Tukdam or not. If you usually touch the heart, entire body is cold, but in the heart there's a warmth there. So we know, that person in the Tukdam. So after 2 or 3 weeks, there's a sign of the white and red, something comes out, and then we know that person has now is come out of that meditation stage. And very funnily, recently His Holiness Gyalwang Trungpa was giving teaching on Bardo during the cycle yatra. He was saying that about one great female master. She was a disciple of, I am not very sure, a great female master. She was a very good practitioner, highly, respected. But then when she died, I don't know, maybe she, got distracted or whatever. She died in a very, ordinary way, like head lolling down, very like that. And then one of her, the teacher called Sokse Rinpoche went there and gave teaching on the Bardo, Mahamudra, But he was very sick. He said, I'm very sad, I think she has lost her way. Then, but after he gave the teaching and next morning he went, the one who is like that has become straight. Really, it's like she found her way. And then, there was glow on her face and, the smiling and, that it's, it is, I think these things are, so Bardo, my Holiness used to say, is not exactly what is happening in the text has to happen. It can be little bit, because everything is a result of many causes and conditions, right? You make a nice tea, you put a little bit of chili, it has changed. So I think it's a result of, anyway, this is something that happened in Ladakh a few years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago. So anyway, the Himalayan tradition, we say Tukdam basically means like that. And it is said that this so-called Mother Nature light is actually happening every second in our life, but we just don't realize it. As I was saying earlier, you can trace everything back. Similarly, if you kind of think about it logically, even if you can't realize it from meditative point of view, we must realize that between every thought there is a space. First there is a, the clear, you have a natural space, and then thought comes, oh, this is something, First there's a non-fabricated natural state of the things, and oh, something yellow looks like yellow. Oh, this is a gold, or this is a mandala, and thought becomes more form, right? And then again it dissipates, and then another thought comes. In between there has to be a gap. If there's no gap, then one thought will run continuously. But it's so small, and we are so lost, that we don't, we are so lost that if we ask you, how many steps did you take from your car here, we don't know, right? It's not that there's no step, but we are so distracted. So we can't see in our daily Dhammakaya, in our thoughts, we can't see, right? So anyway, it is said the natural state of the mind is Dhammakaya. Then when the formation starts, it's Sambhogakaya. When it's fully developed, it's the Nirmanakaya. Right? So anyway, but those who do practice, they can recognize it, and then, that's the best way. So, and also, Bardo is also something that it is said for, if you are a very, very negative person, who have done so many negative deeds, you have no Bardo. You close your eyes, you open, you're already down there, shortcut, right? No need to Bardo teaching, right? And vice versa, if you have been a very, very good boy or girl, also no Bardo. You close, open your eyes, already in the pure land. So Bardo is for people who have like 50-50, No, sometime practicing, sometime not practicing, that kind of people. Right? So, we have kind of, we can go either way, So, because it's too balanced karma. So anyway, and yes, another thing I forgot to say is that when the air leaves the body, one of my teachers used to say that that's the time the body starts to become very hard. I think the science they call it rigor mortis. I think something like that. So anyway, it is said the body becomes very hot, very very hot. But again, people who are great practitioners, and even if you're not practitioner, if you can eat some very, very special relics, special holy pills, also as one of the signs of being blessed is your body is very supple. Even after you have dead, that is a sign of the blessing of having eaten a very special relics, holy pill, etc. So, so now we can't recognize it, right? If we can't recognize the mind, then like right now we can't recognize that movement is also very short during the Bardo, and then we can't recognize the natural clear light or nature of the mind. And then again from there, the ignorance comes, then the desire comes, etc. comes. And then what happens, it is said that we have, when it is said that we are formed because of father and mother's essence, it is said that our father's essence usually stays on our forehead, and mother's essence is in our tummy. So at that time there's no elements no air to support this, to stay in its own place. So these, the two, essence meets in the heart and clashes. And as it clashes, and that is the time the consciousness goes out, right? And that is why for example, in Himalayan countries, we usually don't cremate people immediately. Because externally they have stopped breathing, but internally a process of shutting down. It's like computer, Just because the screen is blank doesn't mean it's really finished. There are many things happening, inside, right? So, so that kind of so we usually don't cremate for at least 4 or 5 days. And then also it is said that when the consciousness goes out, it is not something like it can go out from anywhere. It is said that consciousness goes out from the 9 points. I think when we do the Bardo prayer, it will be there. I think it is something like your crown of your head, and below your that, and your eyes, your nose, the 2 ears, mouth, and navel, and where the 2 excrements comes out from the 2 holes. So they are said to be 9, point it comes out. Consciousness usually has to come out from these 9 points, and it is come out with the last air that is left in our body. That is air kind of pushes the consciousness out. And that is why it is possible to see where the consciousness comes out. Some of the indicators are, for example, if people die with the mouth opened, that means consciousness came out from the mouth. Some people die with eyes wide open, that means consciousness came out from the mouth, the eyes. And some they die with a bit of toilet coming out, so that means consciousness went from down. And it is said that depending on where the consciousness came out will affect or determine where the person is reborn. So if your consciousness came out from the lower, then possibly in the lower realm. Consciousness came out on the top, maybe the pure realms, or at least God realm. I think the eyes are the God realm or the human realm, etc. When we do the prayer, it is there. So that is why one of the advice that masters usually give is when people are about to die, you shouldn't kind of rub them, touch them in the wrong places, because at that time, even right now also, when you touch something, our mind goes, right? You are walking nicely and somebody pinches you, your consciousness goes there, right? So similarly, at the Bardo, that stage also, where you are touched, the mind will automatically go, and then you may influence the person to be reborn in negatively. So that is why it is recommended that if someone is a great practitioner, just leave them. If not, maybe with a Buddha statue here, like this, you should touch the person's crown, here, right? First place after the person dead is you should touch the crown of their head, and then recite the Buddha's name or whatever. And if you have some mandala from the sand mandala, that is also you can put, So this is considered one of the ways to, support the development of the, support being born in upper realm. So this is in terms of the, yes. And then it is said that during the time of the Bardo, especially the process of the consciousness shutting down, etc. It is very, very important to have a positive friend, virtuous friend. So what do we mean by positive? So usually I think, I'm not sure about you guys, but when I look at myself, and especially when I look at a lot of the the movies that is available, generally there seems to be a kind of dream that if we die, we can be with all our loving families looking at us, saying goodbye, bye, You can smiling let go into the peace in the white cloud. That seems to be kind of the dream aspiration, and that's good. I mean, that's better than people are saying, sign this check before you die. Sign your property to me, and fighting in front of your eye. Of course, that is much better for sure. Definitely. But if you are a practitioner, the last thing you want is your family around you. Because it is like, biggest reminder of attachment. And not only is it attachment, it is a helpless attachment. There's nothing you can do about it. So that's why Milarepa, he said that when I die, I don't want crying families around me. I want to die alone in a cave with my guru and remembering my teacher. Right? So we also, right? So bad friend doesn't necessarily mean someone who hates you. Of course, someone who hates you, makes you irritated, definitely is bad. Because Bardo is a stage where the previous lives, this life is finished, next life not yet born. So how you die, with what emotion, can really affect where you are born in the Bardo stage. So for example, usually it's our tradition to, my teacher's advice also, he always told me that all dinner invitation you don't have to accept. But whenever a person is dying and is sick, you must go. And that I try to follow His Holiness advice. I always, I never decline as much as possible. So when we go to see dead person, about a person about to die or sick, usually we give them, few advices. One is that don't be, attached, because this life dream has finished. You had a good dream of family, And you not only dreamt of family, but you believed it, right? You believed that person is your husband. They became your husband. You believe that that person is your ex-husband. They become your ex-husband, So you had a good dream. You had a dream of so-called success. You had a dream that you own house, right? And after you die, somebody will have another dream saying, now this house is mine. Right? And before you, somebody else had a dream that this house is mine, right? So in the wealth, in the scripture, what is called longchit. Longchit means able to utilize, able to use it, right? You don't really own anything. We just ability to use it, right? Ability to use your seat is yours. Use your body. That's it. You don't really own anything except in your mind, right? When you say you are together, what do you mean by together? Right? Are you joined together with super glue? No. Even if you are, it's in the mind. When you say you are separate also, that's it, in your mind. Right? As I was saying, in a world of 6 billion people, you can never be lonely, Everybody, right? Within your own body, how many billions of animals are there living with us, organism, right? You are never lonely actually. But in your own mind, you decide, right? So that's why it's possible that you are alone in the Himalaya, you are not lonely. Or you are surrounded by your family, you still feel lonely, right? So it depends on you, our concept. So anyway, so that's what we usually say, Now this dream of wealth, dream of power, dream of family is finished. You had a good dream, you had a good husband, good children, you appreciate it, yes. But at this moment, believing that dream to be real is the worst thing that you can do. Right? Because people say, I am not afraid of dying. If you are not afraid of dying, then you should not be afraid to lose your job, to lose your house, to go out in the street naked. You should not be afraid, because that's exactly what is happening. When we die, everything is being taken away from us. No house, no family, no body, no job, nothing. And then, so in this life, even loss of a job or a family, we can't take it. How can we really face death? Right? And what is the reason we have the pain? Because of attachment. And attachment comes from the illusion, believing things to be real, believing things to be always, permanent. As we are talking during the Tara practice also, we have attachment because we have attachment to the body because we don't realize every second it is changing. We have attachment to emotion because we don't realize that today's happiness emotion, after a few minutes it will be a dream, it will be another emotion, right? Yesterday's criticism is today's memory. Yesterday's happiness, today's memory. Today's experience is tomorrow's memory. But we can't see the impermanence, so we get attached to it. So anyway, this is what advice you give, Now please don't be attached. And one of the best way to reduce attachment is, offer your everything to Buddha Amitabha, right? At least in your mind. Of course, you can't really sign to Buddha Amitabha, really, I know, but at least in your mind, right? Even if you don't offer, it is going to be taken away, Somebody else is going to enjoy it. You have not really understood the essence of the wealth, right? Essence of the wealth is to give joy to yourself and others, right? Utilize it. Actually, essence of the wealth is in using it, actually, not in hoarding it. But if you have understood it, very good. You have karma to look forward to. If you have not, hoarded it, what to do. But at least mentally you can offer to Buddha Amitabha, right? So that is one of the, and that offering of the Buddha to Buddha will help us to reduce attachment. And that reduce attachment means reduce pain, reduce suffering. If you can understand the so-called family, what I had was a very good dream, but it is a dream. That is one of the, the very important advice that you can give to yourself as well as to people who are dying. That's what you should say. You should never, I don't think that you should say that we love you, we'll always be there. I think you should say, we had a very good time, 50 years of happiness together, but that dream is over now. Let it be, let it go, The dream of family is gone, wealth is gone, it's okay, let it be. Rather think of Buddha Amitabha, because that is more practical. Then second thing is, I think that we advice usually give is, we always say, remember Amitabha Buddha, remember Amitabha Buddha. And that is important because once you have lost hope, second thing is to have a direction in the life, where to go next. And that from the Buddhist point of view, especially Mahayana point of view, is Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. And that hope is very important for many reasons. It's important because not only hope, I will even say a desire to be born Amitabha Buddha land is very important. From the Sutrayana, it is said that Amitabha Buddha made a vow that as long as people have not committed the 5 negative heinous crimes, which is killing your father, mother, and harming Buddha, fighting in the Sangha, and killing Arhat, and criticizing the different yanas, as long as you have not done these things, even ordinary people like us who are not enlightened, who are full of negative things, as long as we can fulfill 3 conditions. One is belief in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. And second is visualizing how it looks, how it is, shape and everything. And third is when you pray to be reborn Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, not just for oneself. And Amitabha Buddha Pure Land is not the ultimate goal for us. That is the difference between heaven and the Pure Land. Heaven is ultimate goal. You want to go to heaven and stay up there forever. 7-star luxury. Right? That's it. That's the ultimate goal. But in the Pure Land, it's not like that. Pure Land is where you can go receive teaching from Amitabha Buddha Pure in a perfect condition, so you can advance and become enlightened. Pure Land is just a conditioned, perfect condition to practice. So I want to be born Amitabha Buddha Pure Land so that I can practice and become enlightened for the sake of all sentient beings. So these 3 conditions are if you can fulfill these 3 conditions, Amitabha Buddha has promised that you will be reborn Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Not because we are great, but because he's great. Right? He has done so much work for us. We just need to fulfill these 3 conditions from our side. Right? The hook is there, we just need the hole here to pull up. So these 3 conditions, now this I'll be very frank, I didn't read in Sutra why these 3s are. But I was just my kind of reflection. I was thinking that these 3 reasons make a very good sense. Firstly, belief in the Amitabha Buddha in the Western direction. Right? As a Buddhist, we believe in a multi-universe. We believe in aliens, you can say. Not exactly ET shape, But definitely Buddha has said there are thousands of worlds, thousands of Buddha, thousands, there is already Buddha has said it. So in the Western direction or Western universe plant, Amitabha Buddha is there. Buddha Shakyamuni said clearly, many masters have seen it, that belief is very important. It is important because when you die, you have no body. So your mind goes where you want it, right? So if you don't even believe Buddha Amitabha was there, why will you go there? I'll say, I don't want to go there. I don't believe it, right? If somebody tell you Guru Rinpoche is outside, you will not go because you don't believe it, right? So I think it is very important, first part. And the second is, the visualizing Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, its qualities, how, it is said that after you are born Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, you will see all the Buddhas. And I think Amitabha Buddha is like a very good passport. After you Buddha Amitabha Buddha Pure, you can go to other Pure Land also, no problem. The visa is free, on arrival. So, that kind of, these qualities, right? Some are like, some people very skeptical can say, Amitabha Buddha says there's a golden, mountain, turquoise lake. I don't believe all this. Or some say I'm not interested. From my point of view, I don't really find anything unbelievable. There's nothing unbelievable. In this world also, how many mountains are there, different shapes are there, gold mountains are there, mines are there, uraniums are there, different, why, who made all this? Collective karma made it. So if our collective karma can make this, why can't Amitabha Buddha make it, Why can't his karma make it? It's very unfair, and Buddha Amitabha was saying, we can make it, you can't, Why not, right? So yes, I definitely, believe it is possible, right? So anyway, so that kind of, the Pure Land description is very important because that creates a sense of, in other way you can say, desire to be born there, And that's very important because it is that desire which breaks the glue of attachment to this world. Breaks the glue, to your house, to your apartment, to your husband, wife. If you don't have that glue, The glue cannot be broken. This glue is too strong that even if you want to Buddha Amitabha come, you might say, no, I prefer to stay here. Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, but I am too attached. Without my husband, I don't want to go. Actually, I read in the sutra that there was one person, he was a very devout Amitabha Buddha, and Amitabha Buddha came to take him, but he was very attached to some sort of gold cup or something he had. So he couldn't, go. He was reborn back as a snake because the attachment, because it's the mind. At the end of the day, there's no body that time. So I usually think that if you don't have some sort of wish to go there, after you die, instead of Amitabha Buddha Pure, you'll probably go to your favorite bar, to have a nice drink, because that's your mind is going there constantly. So every night, if you're not doing Amitabha Buddha Pure and wish to be reborn there, definitely mind will go there. It will not go up. I think that's the second reason. And the third, we say that to have a bodhicitta mind when you to be reborn Amitabha Buddha Pure, not just for yourself. And I think that's important because in terms of a merit of the mind, understanding the Prajna Paramita or Heart Sutra is considered the most merit. The second most merit is called the bodhicitta mind. So when from depth of your heart you have a wish that I want to be born Amitabha Buddha Pure Land for the benefit of all the mother sentient beings, if you mean from your heart, that thought, that genuine thought for a few seconds has a more merit than offering billions of dollars to Amitabha Buddha. Because Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are not really in poverty, right? And they became Buddha, so to benefit sentient beings, right? So best offering you can give to Buddha is to benefit sentient beings, right? Best way to make a parent happy is to be good to the children. Automatically parents are happy. So that is why the bodhicitta is said to be the second greatest accumulation of merit. So when we do Amitabha Buddha prayer with the wish to be reborn, to liberate all sentient beings, it creates a tremendous amount of positive karma. Right? So if you have these three, belief in the Western world, visualizing the Pure Land, description, etc., and then praying to reborn with the bodhicitta, if you have these three conditions, you will definitely be reborn. In the Amitabha Sutra, it's even said that you fulfill the conditions, but if you have a doubt, then you will be born there, but for 500 years, the flower will not open. You can receive the teaching, but you cannot see Amitabha Buddha. It is said very clearly. Right? So anyway, I think this is very, of course, firstly, I definitely believe, because, one of my own, His Holiness mother's mother, grandmother, was a devout believer, Amitabha Buddha, and then, when she was about to die, she said that, no need to do any prayer for me, I can see Amitabha Buddha, he is guiding me. I'm sure in the Chinese Mahayana also, there are many stories about that, I saw many, it's, of course, right? And I definitely believe because, I believe in the Buddhas because, as I was saying during Tara practice also, that why will Buddha not help us, right? People seem to think that if they are comfortable with Kuan Yin, they seem to feel uncomfortable with Guru Padma Sambhava, because they feel that, Kuan Yin, I have done many Ang Pao, offering, Guru Padma Sambhava, I haven't not done, so maybe, I don't know, if he's really helped me or not, right? So that means we are thinking that Buddhas are bribable, Really, we are thinking, I believe some and Amitabha like me, no offering, no like, right? So that, I don't think that is true. We do offering not to please the Buddha, but to accumulate a merit. From Buddha's side, to all the sentient beings is equal. Their blessing is 24/7. It's not, offering them blessing, no offering, switch off. I don't think like that, right? So definitely Amitabha Buddha, will definitely come and guide us. And in terms of Buddhists also, I believe, not only this, but even to a person who is dying, to have such hope to look forward to is very important, because other than that you are losing everything you have built up over the years, right? Your name, your fame, your money, and look forward to nothing, is something very, I think, very difficult. So these are the advice that we usually give. Remember Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, to reduce, and then do offering. And whatever negative deeds you have done, also do purification. I regret the negative deed I have done. May the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas be able to, may I purify my negative deed. And the time of death is, that Bardo stage is very, very important. It is important because right now, no matter how much you pray to be reborn Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, this life karma is not yet finished. So we are still stuck here. But Bardo is the time this life karma is finished, next life karma is not yet ripened. So you are at the airport, right? You are in the, like you have to choose which gate, right? You can prepare right now, but when you reach the plane, you get the wrong gate, it doesn't matter. So that is, Bardo is the, the crucial. That is why when the time for death comes, having a right guidance, a right guru, remembering the teaching is very, very crucial in terms of being able to accept as well as influencing where we are going to be reborn. So please remember that, right? Remembering that this life's dream is over, not to be attached. Remembering Buddha Amitabha and doing offerings, right? Anyway, in this life, all the wealth is basically, it's an experience, is a dream. Whatever you enjoy yesterday's, today's dream. Life, wealth doesn't have that much essence. But by offering to Buddhas and Bodhisattva, you, from something essenceless, you accumulate merit. And third is the purification. So these three are the things that you must remind yourself again, right? And in your day-to-day life also, at least to a short Amitabha Buddha prayer, I think is very important. And if you're a Vajrayana practitioner, then there's something called Pova also, where you transfer your consciousness, etc. But that is Vajrayana do. From the Mahayana point of view, every time in the night you pray to be reborn Amitabha Buddha Pure Land and think of that, is a Mahayana way of doing Pova. Because every time you do that, your mind goes to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, the wish to be reborn, right? And of course it comes back. So in the Mahayana Pova is, and it is said is equally effective as the Vajrayana Pova. Vajrayana is more spectacular, yes, you do the Pova, sometimes the blood comes out from here, you can put some grass in, yeah, it's more spectacular, true, and maybe more effective, but I think, that Mahayana, this is also equally effective. That's what I read in the sutras. So, that is the most crucial. And then, anyway, when the consciousness comes out, when the mind, and the essence of the father and mother comes, and then the consciousness come out, it is said that we kind of go into a, unconscious shock. The shock of, the departing something is from which is so far, you kind of go into unconscious. Some masters say you will be unconscious for 4 days, no, 3.5 days. And some say that you may get up after 1-2 days, but until 3 and 4 days you will not really know that you have died. So you will be talking to people, they will not be replying to you, and then you have ability to read mind also, because you have your mind, your body is said to be very like a more kind of in a spirit form. You have a form, but not that solid blood. So you cannot eat solid food, but you can, smell. Smell kind of satisfy you. So we do this food for the hungry ghost, etc. So you can read your mind, people's mind, and then go anywhere, wherever you think. You think of Singapore, you are Singapore. You think of, I don't know, USA, you are suddenly in USA. And you get kind of confused also, how did I get here so fast? Without visa, without ticket, how did I? So we're very, confusing kind of experiences. And you go into, it is said that there is no sun and moon. Because Vajrayana, we say that, Vajrayana and Buddhism, we say everything is interdependent. So what you see outside is the result of inner conditions. So the reason we can see sun and moon is because we have father's and mother's essence. Mother's essence represents the sun, father's represents the moon. So when you don't have father's, mother's essence, you cannot see sun and moon. There's no, and some who are very good in the yoga, they can usually predict the moon eclipse and solar eclipse. Madhumaya, my guru, used to be able to, predict from how his channels are moving, and he can predict it. So it is, that's why in the Vajrayana we have, it is saying that, it is said that from the 1st to the 10th, the male essence, becomes more and more stronger. So externally also the moon, becomes, the round, and then, declines. So anyway, so it is said that, for 3.5 days, that we can't really figure out, whether we have died alive, and we can read people's minds. So sometimes, you kind of get shocked. You thought they really loved you, but they loved your property more, So anyway, right? And they got a lot of shock. And depending on attachment, the shock will be like that. Right? When I was in, I heard that you guys saw the Bhutan Path Yatra movie. So when I was, I think, I don't know if Julie was here with me that time. Anyway, when I reached one school, that time the principal was telling me that, oh, I'm very happy you are here, because one of the students, one of the young student, his father had passed about 2 weeks ago, and then father had possessed a child, and then was saying, that my ex-wife has a golden Buddha statue. You must get it back and give it to my son, Otherwise, I'm not going to go. So, they had to call ex-wife and request her to give the golden statue back, right? Which is in a way very sad, because that means that when we look at the Buddha statue, it's not object of refuge, it's object of wealth, right? So when you look at the Buddha, it's not to realize, not to transform the mind, take refuge, but it is wealth, right? So even Buddha statue can give you a headache if you're attachment, right? And then he was talking about now he wanted to meet his present life wife. Then they got together and he was requesting, please don't get married, don't get stepfather, will not be good to my child, I mean, you have died, you have no body, what your wife does is, what to worry, right? But that is the problem, the pain comes from the attachment. Even though there's no logic, there's nothing, but the attachment comes that, especially at that time. So anyway, depending on attachment, level of attachment, we go through difficult times. And so anyway, when the moment we are born, we kind of awake. That is the time the Bardo, the second Bardo of the Chike Bardo of the death, is over. And then when you are kind of awake from that unconsciousness, the third Bardo, the Sipa Bardo, has started. Sipa Bardo has started. And in the Himalayan tradition, usually we do a lot of prayers during this 4 days, because that is the time they go through a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, etc. So this is the time we say that after 4 days, after a person has died, we usually do lots and lots of prayers and dedication, etc. And another thing that we do is, and it is said that, every 7 day, Bardo, they go through experience of dying again, and again they are reborn. So that is why in the Himalayan we have something called Dvinsik, which means a 7-day prayer. So every 7 day on the day that person died, we usually do Amitabha Buddha prayer or Tsautu, whatever, like we are doing tomorrow also. So we do the Tsautu, and then yes, and then there are go up with it. Okay, and then okay. So anyway, I think we should stop here today. Tomorrow we have some. Tomorrow also we have, I think, today we will do the Bardo prayer. So tomorrow we'll continue with what happens with the second week, third week, and 49 days, 21 days, etc. And also why we do Tsautu, how does it help? All this we will talk tomorrow. But many of the masters say that most important to realize is that most important Bardo is not the after you die, but the present life Bardo that we are in. To realize that we are in the Bardo, we are born and we are dying, and we are constantly, in between that, and constantly we are nearing that. Right? And in this time that we have, whatever you can do to accumulate merit or purify, or at least understand your emotions, right? It can be as simple as, you see something very scares you, like a mouse or a cockroach or whatever. Instead of just saying, I'm afraid, just rather, when you feel fear, rather to kind of understand, oh, I'm feeling afraid. But where is fear? What is fear? Where is it coming from? What is the nature of the fear? Is it something that is solid? Right? Why? Right? I will share my personal experience. Once my friend, another, he's my colleague, Rinpoche. We were in an amusement park, and we are very coward, we are very scared of the roller coasters. So there was something called the space walk, So I thought, wow, they must be showing some stars and moon, And then we got in and started moving, and we realized the space is the rocket, Then we were so scared, because we are really coward, we don't have ground. So we start talking about, we said we need to distract our mind. Then we start talking about some very important matters. We have to do like this, So that helped a little bit. But after some time, that was also not working. We finished out a topic, and the ride was still going on, And then after some time, we said, okay, now, what I was trying to do was, instead of saying, I'm so afraid, right? No, so just relax a little bit and kind of think, okay, yes, I feel very scared, but what does this scared look like? Where is this fear coming from? Why do I feel fear? What is the shape of the fear? Does fear really exist? What is the nature of that fear that I'm going through? Right? And when you do that, it is kind of, not that scary anymore, right? And it's very funny because it not only fear even works in a tickle. My sisters, they used to kind of a little bit, they have this, so we have some sort of hair massage thing, they do like that, it gives a head massage. So normally, it's very ticklish, but when you do kind of relax your mind and they do tickling, then I don't get tickled. If I'm distracted, I feel very ticklish, right? So, it's just awareness, right? So this is actually the train for the Bardo, together with accumulating merit and purification, is that when you feel fear, when you feel extreme fear, and instead of just reacting to fear, to understand that fear. Right? Because right now, physical body, so we have some sort of so-called, real and unreal. But in the Bardo realm, you have no body. So what you feel is, that is what you experience exactly, that is real for you. There's no distinction between so-called real or unreal. It is very important to, when you receive teaching, receive with a very good intention. Because intention is like how you aim an arrow. So depending on your intention, the result will depend on the intention or the motivation. So when you receive the Bardo teaching, it is very much advisable to realize that I am also in the Bardo between life and death. Yet I am not aware of this constant change, constant movement of my life. So many sentient beings are not aware. And because we are unaware of it, that is why we have so much worry, so much fear. Even though we are in a transit, we have not really reached that. We are, not reached the destination. We are always transiting. Yet even in the transit, we have so much worry about house, family, stress, etc. So we are all caught up in this sort of illusion, and so are all sentient beings. So maybe through the teaching of Bardo, be able to utilize the Bardo between life and death, so that we are prepared for the future Bardos and for the future stages of the Bardo. So with such a motivation, we should be listening to the teaching. So now coming back to the teaching, bit summarization of yesterday is we talked about the life and death Bardo, and when the process of the death starts, how the 5 elements shut down, and as the elements shut down, the functions of the element, which are, the earth is the movement of body, and then the water, the dryness in the throat, dryness, and the fire element, the warmth, and the water element, sachume, and then the wind element, body becomes heavy, and how the breathing comes out, and then how the fathers and mothers, then the internal kind of the breathing continues even after external breathing has stopped, and then how the consciousness, anger dissolve into desire, desire into ignorance, ignorance wisdom, and if you can recognize, you can get enlightened in the Dhammakaya. If not, then again it starts again. And then how the fathers and mother essence, no longer supported by the element, comes down. When they two meet, there's a shock. And then with the wind, last remaining wind, the consciousness comes out. Right? So, after consciousness comes out, Some masters say for 3.5 days we are unconscious, and some say that it is not really sure, but how soon you get up from it. So in the says here that in the page number 294. Yes. So it says that third line, we are unaware of our own death when our relatives and our friends' lack of response causes us to despair. Bless us so that we shall cut all bonds of attachment and aversion. So at that time, when you wake up, you don't really realize that you have died, and you try to talk to your relatives, but they don't respond, and then you feel a lot of pain. And as I was saying yesterday, the reason we feel pain is because of our attachment. And attachment comes from not realizing the impermanent nature. Attachment comes from not realizing that so-called friend, family, wealth, it is something that is not externally existing, but what our mind have projected. It's not our eyes that sees friend, it is our mind that sees friend. It's our mind that sees my property, my wealth, so and so. It's the mind that sees, right? It's mind that has a sense of ownership. So anyway, may I be able to cut all the bonds of attachment. And it is said that at that time you are born, some say like the 8-year-old boy kind of the body you have, very light kind of, not really solid form, more of a mental form. And other than Bodh Gaya and Mount Meru, other than, Mount Meru, Bodh Gaya and the mother's womb, any other places, as soon as you think, you are there. So it is said Mount Meru because Mount Meru is a result of the accumulation of the collective karma of the people. So it is, if you don't have the enough merit, you cannot go there. And the Bodh Gaya, some say Bodh Gaya is because it's a Buddha Shakyamuni and all the Buddhas get enlightened there, so also you can't go. And some masters say Bodh Gaya, it doesn't really mean the Bodh Gaya, but because Dorji then means Vajra seed. So rather the Vajra refers to the Dharmakaya, the nature of the mind, right? So you can have all sort of thought except able to go in the nature of your own mind. So some masters say like that. And then the mother's womb is until you have the karma, until you have the karma to reborn as a human realm, it is, you cannot just go easily. So other than that, you can go anywhere, and because you have no father's and mother's essence, there's no sun and moon, and you can go anywhere. And sometimes we are swept helplessly along like a feather in the wind. Bless us so that we may master our mind. So this is very, it is said that during the Bardo time, we feel a lot of, we see a lot of scary things. If you go really into detail, they were saying that, for example, each week you will see that we call in the Vajrayana, we said the 42 peaceful deities, the 58 wrathful deities, etc. we will see. So, and those who can't understand it will recognize it as a Buddha and generate devotion and be enlightened. Those who cannot see will see it as something that is very fearful and get a lot of fear. But since both Buddha, Buddha is a reflection of the recognized mind. So for example, we have a wrathful mind, anger. So recognized anger is a wrathful Buddha. Recognized compassion, loving, kindness is a peaceful Buddha. So when we are able to recognize our emotions, and then, I think we have, even in Bardo also, we will not be, bless us so that we may master our mind. So right now, the question is, do we recognize anger? For example, do we recognize it when we feel anger? Do we just get angry? Do we just get sad? Or do we say that, oh, now I'm getting angry? Let's look at the nature of the anger. Yesterday we did a Tara meditation like that, when the anger nature mind comes, let it leave anger in its own nature. What is its true nature? And we have to know the differentiation between mind and the nature is a little bit different. For example, you can say this is a gold, imagine gold Vajra,
gold bell. So in a one way it is different. This is Vajra, this is a bell. Of course it is different, very much. If you go to shop, this is maybe cheaper, this may be more expensive, Price may be different also, conceptually. But if you talk in terms of nature, they both have the same nature, that they are gold. Similarly, emotions also, of course, in a way, sadness and happiness, something totally opposite. They are two different things. Yet, if you look at if you understand the nature of the emotion, both happy and sadness are equal. Both of these natures are clear and empty nature of the mind, Buddha nature. Buddha nature is not just present in kindness and compassion, it's present in anger, in jealousy, in desire. Right? Because Buddha nature is clear and empty nature of the mind. And that nature is throughout all emotions. So if you can't recognize that, then, when you feel, it says, that we are swept helplessly along like a feather. And this is not something happening only in the Bardo, but it's happening right now, this Bardo also. We are helplessly swept by anger, right? Physically, maybe sometimes we show, sometimes we don't show, but inside there's that, helplessly swept, so food doesn't taste good, cannot sleep, because of that anger, or because of desire not fulfilled. I don't feel good about myself. I am nobody. I am nothing. I feel so, like I have not achieved. I am nobody. I feel so lack of achievement. You feel this lack of achievement because we have a desire. We are swept by the desire. Right? So in this life, if we are swept by anger, desire, almost like a churning ocean, right? And then, our world, for us, people may not see it, but for us, your world, it is churning. Some of us, we feel that, the world is in a big trouble, Say, we might say, my life is in a big problem because of this person, that person, right? Maybe for you, this person is a big headache, but for another person, this person is a great happiness to that person, You hate him and they love him, right? So that means that this churning, this thing happening is actually by yourself. Our own emotions being projected outside. So we love Singapore, we hate Singapore, whatever, It's all happening inside, not outside. Sometimes when I come out from the plane, I usually, sometimes we have a lot of monks, different seating, so I wait at the gate. So whenever people come out, and I always imagine, who might they be, They might be a CEO, they might be a movie actor, they might be criminal, or they might be, don't know. But who they are is in their mind. Right? They must be thinking, I am a very big company CEO, I am a very big person, I am a very famous, I am nobody, I am very nothing. It's all happening in their mind. But in order for it to become reality to us, they have to tell us. They have to give us a name card and say, then we say, suddenly he becomes more important, right? Because it happens in our mind, right? So similarly, we are, always, in this world also, we are swept by our mind's projection. So in this life, if you are so, of course we feel anger, we can see enemy, we feel happy, yes. But at least after listening to the Bardo, when you feel anger, yes, you feel anger, but little bit, look at the nature of the anger, right? Instead of just reacting to anger, I am angry, let's say, what is anger? What is the nature of the anger, right? When you feel happy also, please be happy, you're welcome, but understand the nature of the anger, nature of the happiness. When you feel fear of snake, fear of whatever, instead of just fearing it, look at the nature of the fear. Right? Look at where is the fear really coming from. For example, if an average person like us, if you lose your house, if you lose your car, if your car is crashed, it can be so much pain. But you ask, since I was in Australia, I'm giving an example of kangaroo. You ask a kangaroo, I lost my car. So what? I have 2 legs to hope. No problem for me. Right? And he said, I have a Mercedes kangaroo. So what? I don't care. Right? So that means that that the pain that we feel of losing something, the joy that we feel, it's an individual concept. So kangaroo or other animal, they don't have this concept, so they don't mind. So instead of if you don't analyze it, it looks so reasonable. I lost my car, today I lost this much $1 million, I feel so sad, or I gained so much. It looks so, everybody will say, yes, I understand, I sympathize, I understand, I also lost. That's because we all share the similar concept, so it is, easily understandable. But just because we share the concept does not mean it's the ultimate truth. It just means it is truth that is relatively to our group, our whatever called species or whatever. Right? So anyway, in this life, if you don't have a control, Bardo will be very difficult. Right? Because at least right now you can listen to the teaching, you have the master. Physically also you can kind of, the what is so-called real and unreal. But Bardo is the mind, the mind is, takes you everywhere, right? So at that time we don't have the ability to eat for solid food, so we subsist on smell of food. And a lot of, misleading appearance arises, right? And may I able to recognize the nature of these, these appearances and these as my own mind. So after the fourth, and may I also not be in doubt, but may I be able to truly understand that I am, now I have, in this Bardo, Sipa Bardo. Right? And then, so the third Bardo is, the second Bardo is when the death sign appears, and then you feel unconscious. And as soon as you are born into the Bardo form, then the Sipa Bardo starts, the third Bardo starts. And within third Bardo, we have called Chunyi Bardo, where you see different deities and all of that. These are part of the third Bardo. Then after the fourth 3.5 days, it says 4.5 actually is a mistake, is a 3.5 days. We will be able to understand that we realize that we are dead. So at that time, we will be so afraid, we will be so lost, and we will be looking for help everywhere. And that time, may we realize that one's own guru, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, but most importantly, the Buddha within yourself, your own nature of the mind, instead of fearing the mind which gives happiness, mind which gives us fear, rather than just saying I feel happy or sad, rather understand the nature of that emotion, nature of the mind, and that is the biggest refuge. If you are suffering because you lack money, and if somebody gives you money, that is not the real solution. Rather, the real solution is that lack that you feel, that the lack of whatever it is, the sadness that you feel, understanding that itself doesn't inherently exist. That is, if you can understand that, that is the biggest refuge. If you want to go from here to, I don't know, somewhere, and somebody gives you a lift, you feel, oh, he helped me a lot. Actually, he only provided condition for you to help yourself. If you didn't want to go, nobody can, you will not be happy because somebody took you there. So you are happy because you have decided in your own mind, I want to go there. So anyway, understand that my own mind as the refuge. May I know that recognizing the nature of my mind is the ultimate refuge. And that time, the second level practitioner have the opportunity to get enlightened in the Sambhogakaya. So those who, many people tell us, oh, the visualization is very difficult. And not only difficult, they don't even try, I think. So we have to try, because anyway, we are visualizing all the time anyway. We are visualizing paper as a money, right? Metal as a gold, plastic as a credit card, right? No? Louis Vuitton, LV, and it becomes expensive, right? We are visualizing anyway all the time, friend, enemy, and we believe we have a visualize, we have a devotion, and together with the devotion it works, right? So somebody give you Louis Vuitton, the blessing of happiness comes, right? Because you have devotion. Yes, true. So similarly, visualization also is very important. It is, if you visualize well, that becomes your reality. So anyway, the second opportunity to get enlightened is that time when you realize that you have passed away. That's the time first you do the visualization of yourself as a Tara or Amitabha Buddha, whatever, instead of holding on to so-called that identity of I am this, I am that, Jack, Jill, whatever. Remain in the nature of your own mind for a moment, and that nature of the mind itself is, from the beginningless time, is the clear and empty nature of the mind, never been polluted, cannot become dirty, cannot become clear, and that nature of the mind itself is transformed into Amitabha Buddha, Avalokiteswara, Green Tara, your nature of the mind, emptiness, Guru and the Buddha, all one. And then, visualize yourself, and then, in the visualization well,
And then after the visualization, dissolve all the, the visual into the we call the cessation, or the, the Mahamudra practice, dissolute and remain in the nature of the mind. And if you can do that, that is, you can get enlightened in the Sabhoga Kaya form. There's a second chance. Now if you can't do that, if you can do that, then, because everything is visualization, then it becomes, Bardo becomes pure realm. Everything's pure, pure realm. If you can't do that, then it comes. Crash of collapsing mountain, raging ocean, burning forest, apocalyptic hurricanes, thousand simultaneous thunderclaps terrify us. Right? These are, and when you understand that, may I understand that as ultimate sound of reality. And then, different lights and all of them come. So, and then we can hear different rays, sounds like kill them, destroy them, etc. And then by the influence of our own negative karma, for example, if you have been eating a lot of meat, it is said that, that animal, you can see them, right? If you eat a lot of char siu, right, pork, a lot of pig will be waiting for you, kill them, burn them, barbecue them. It's not true that they are the animal, that is, it is just that negative imprint that has been left in our mind is reflected, is, then you see these things. It is said very clearly in the, actually Theravada believes that the animals in the hell realm are real, but from Mahayana onwards, Buddha said that who made the, the iron house, what company manufactured it, no, these are all, the manifestation of your own negative imprints of your mind, get reflected, right? For example, when we are in a dark place, the world looks dark. So anyway, we go through such experiences. And as I was saying earlier, every 7 days, then you have to die. We go through a process of death, small death, and again we are reborn in the Bardo realm. So that is why in the Himalayan tradition, Vajrayana tradition, every 7 days we do some sort of sautu or a prayer. Every 7 on the day that he or she died. We call it Dinsik. So 7 days, and then from the very, the Bardo call, it doesn't say here, but some Bardo Tidal, it is said that every 7 days you get, I think every week you see Buddha, and you see, it is said that you are able to see 2 kinds of light. One very bright light, bright sort of path, and one not so bright path. So those who don't have the connection, those who are purified and have, some sort of practice, they will not fear the bright, but they will look at the nature of the bright and be able to go into one of the 5 Buddhas in the realm. And those who cannot do that, they will choose the lesser kind of the path, or lesser bright, and then you are born into the God realm, so etc. So it is said each week the 5 Buddhas, I think the 6 Buddhas, the 5, the lights and path appears. Some, some teaching they say like that. And anyway, after many of the, especially in Kingdom of Bhutan, after a person dies, we do for 21 days, we do very intensive prayers. Every 7 days we do, then do other offering, building stupa, giving to the poor, sponsoring the nyungne, the fasting practices, whatever we do. We also always chant Om Mani Padme Hum, give us stop eating meat and dedicate to the the person who died, etc. The 21 days is important because it is said that till 21 days, the karma of the past life has more influence. So that means that even the way you look more like the person you just passed away, the body that you have left behind. In your thinking also, if you are investment banker, you are still thinking of investment, maybe, that influence still there. You are thinking my family, my relative, that is very much there. And then, and then even the walking is also similar style. But after 21 days, the karma of where we are going to be reborn becomes more powerful. It exerts its influence on us, starts exerting. So after 21 days, it is said even the way we walk will be depending on where we are going to go. For example, it is said that the God realms, you should always walk with
I guess looking up they never look down, they go up, I guess those who are very successful, they always look up, never down, So they are always looking up. So anyway, and then I think the demigod is somewhere in middle, human realm state, and then the animals, they go walk on the all four. So after 21 days, if we are going to reborn animal, then we start walking on the all four, and the hell realm, it is said, walks upside down. It must be very gymnastic, No, I don't know. Anyway, it is said like that. So after 21 days, it is quite difficult to change the karma of where they are going to reborn. So till 21 days we have, in terms of Mahayana, we do lamb offering, Amitabha Buddha chanting, prayer. In terms of Vajrayana, it's mostly we do Tsautu. And Tsautu also I'll explain later. It said that it is possible that even though by karma you are supposed to go into lower realm, by the blessing of the Buddha, by the positive karma that you and your family have does for you, tremendous amount of merit. And merit doesn't necessarily have to be puja. It can be saving lives, giving to hospital, chanting, giving a meat for 1 month. Whatever merits you do, act of positive deed you do and dedicate with the blessing of the Buddha and chanting the Buddha's name, right? For example, in China, I read somewhere, I think it happened 15-20 years ago, there was one man who was always, in the pork business, killing the pig, selling pork meat. Then when he was about to die, he was going through a lot of pain. So one master told him, please recite Amitabha, because Amitabha Buddha has blessed his name with his entire accumulation of merit and practice. So one who, so anyway, he was very sick, so he couldn't do, but I think one hand he did Namo Amitabha, one hand, and he died. And it is said that after, few months or weeks, one piglet was born with the one hand was human, because that was one hand he did to Amitabha Buddha. And then the monk came and it was kept in the temple in the China. So maybe some Chinese people will know as an example of the karma and cause condition as example. So, even though it's at the last minute, it is possible that by the blessing of the infinite compassion and the blessing of the Buddha, dedication to the merit, you can be pulled up. It's like one man about to fall down and hundreds of people come together to pull him up. It is possible. So that is why after you die also, after the loved one die also, I think doing good deeds is very important. It's important for two reasons. One is important for a person who has died. Another is important because when you lose someone you love, you really feel helpless, especially if you have not appreciated them very well. And then if you can, then you have a lot of guilt, and sometimes I have seen some people that guilt can harm them for years and years. So if you can do something from depth of your heart to benefit the person who has died, not only will it benefit the person who has passed away, but you will also feel a sense of, kind of satisfaction of being able to do something for the person you have loved and you have lost. Right? That you have done your best, and then now you help them as much as possible. So I believe that it is quite important, and it gives you a sense of closure, I believe. And yep. So then after 49 days, so in Himalayan culture, those family who are wealthy, they do till 49, every week till 49. After 49, generally speaking, it is said that you don't remain in the Bardo. There are some exceptional cases, but generally speaking, you do take rebirth in wherever, whether it's hungry ghost or wherever but you do take rebirth in one of the 6 realms. And so traditionally speaking, after 49 days, we don't do, we kind of, mourning period is over. And then next, on the 1 year after, we usually do something called Longche. Longche means, kind of enjoying the wealth. So that time we do a prayer, but that prayer is more like wherever that person is reborn, may have the karma to have a good health, happiness, etc. It's more like that. So anyway, going back to the so now we cannot get enlightened in the Dhammakaya, we could not get enlightened in the Sambhogakaya form. Now the last option is in the Nirmanakaya form. So in the Nirmanakaya form, what we have to do is, firstly, due to the influence of your karma, in a one way it is karma is like karma basically means one way of understanding karma is also imprints left on our mind. For example, we recite the Kuan Yin mantra in the Sanskrit is Om Mani Padme Hum, six syllable, because 6 syllable is to purify the 6 emotions, anger, jealousy, pride, etc. Because these emotions propel us to, influence us to be born in the 6 realms. Right? So similarly here also it says that if you are going to be born in the God realm, then you kind of see celestial palace with the gods and children flocking. You can see the gods, and then you can see that, and you feel that, you feel beautiful, swans, the horses and chariots, etc. And you have the desire to go, wow, such a beautiful palace, I want to go. And as soon as you have that wish to go, the attraction comes. That is the time the consciousness just enters into the God realm, and you are in the God realm, right? Which may be in a way very good place to go, but in a way it is like a, God realm is like you become a billionaire and then you lose everything. So when you enjoy, you have a lot, but then when you lose it, you can't take it, because you were at the top, you didn't care about anybody, and now you're nobody suddenly. So it's enjoyable while it lasts, but it's very difficult. So anyway, and then if you're going to be born into the demigod realm, it is said that you kind of see more like a more sense of the jealousy comes, more like something like a weapon, the war, and the jealousy propels us to go into the thing. And then to the animal, and then to the human realm, usually we see father and mother, male and female, kind of in the relationship. And then we have attachment towards the, when we are born, it is said that if you are going to be born as a boy, you have an attachment towards the mother and anger towards the, the anger and jealousy towards the father. If you're going to be born as a woman, then you have attraction towards the father and the, anger towards the mother. So the desire and anger is what pulls you. Your mind has to pull into something. Right? When you're thinking of somebody you hate, your mind is pulled there. When you're thinking of shopping, your mind is pulled by desire to there. Right? So that is why it has to pull. So it is the desire and anger that pulls us. And then as soon as it's pulled, that's finished. You are there. You are stuck there, at least for one lifetime. So, and then if you're going to born as the animal, it is said that you feel like a, red wind. Heat and the cold wet rain is like kind of, and you need a shelter. I really need a shelter. I'm feeling so cold. Right? This time in Ladakh, His Holiness was giving us some teaching. And in Ladakh that time was -12. Holiness actually wanted to give us a teaching in -20. Because there's one yoga called the heat yoga. Where you are. His Holiness said that from next year winter festival, there's a tradition where all the things we are not allowed to show, but there's one tradition where the monks and the nuns, they wear a simple white cloth, nothing else, and they sleep in the snow for one night. So you can go and see them when they sleep. In the morning when they go up, also they will do some prayer and the singing of, the realization of their mind. So from next winter, I think Holiness said he will, restart the tradition of people going to see there. And Ladakh is a good place because people have a devotion. So they will not see its exhibition, and probably examine them also, So anyway, my point was that, we were very cold, and I was, and monks had very kindly given me that, what do you call it? We call bukhari, what do you call it? The stove, That you put the wood and the I don't know what you call it, fireplace. So Holiness were telling us, no. Tomorrow onwards, you cannot use that. You have to learn to, you have to learn to kind of
beat the elements, instead of always being, little bit hot, so hot, have to do something, little bit cold, have to do something. That means, you have to understand, even if you don't know any yoga, at least when you feel cold, where is the cold coming from? Who is feeling cold, right? Is ego? What is ego? Where is cold? A little bit of that tolerance has to be built. And now you can see in the Bardo also, the same habit, right? We can also see, I can see sometimes also the people who are, some of us, don't mind sun and rain too much, right? Some people, immediately sun comes, they need the sun applied, the umbrella, so they, the handbag is also huge, So you need to carry so many things. You are prepared for all seasons, in the handbag. No, 4 seasons is ready. No, and then a lot of heavy things to carry. No. So anyway, so if you are, then, so you can see that even during the Bardo time also, you feel like that, and I was, talking about the season, I always say that it's actually how you look at it, right? In a one way, if it rains, you really have to make a, it's raining, I'm getting wet. Or another, you can say, it's okay, my body is waterproof anyway, right? So anyway, when you feel that, the wind is chasing you, the rain is chasing you, feel like heat or cold, and you feel, I need a shelter. And then we approach a cave, ravine, tree stump of the like, with a sense of refuge. And when such experience arises, grant us the grace to know that they are places of a bad birth. That means we are being born animal realm. And when you see a beautiful mansion made of deadly red hot materials, and enchanted, we think of entering. Maybe that is, I think, the hell realm. Right? And then when you are born as in the, for example, usually we are born in the 4 ways. One is through the mother's womb, egg, from the heat and the shell, like the worms, heat and the water. And in God realm, it is called zuke, means like suddenly you are born, without any sort of, suddenly it just appears. God realm is supposed to be born like that. So then you have, sometimes jealousy, and we have, if you are going to be born as, it says here, mother's womb and the egg, mind is drawn by the jealousy, and when you are being born as the where heat and the water, then we have a more of a desire, longing for a smell and a taste, and we take birth in the moisture. And zuke is when you get attached to places, like for example, wow, the palace is so beautiful, gods and goddesses are so beautiful and handsome, and as soon as our mind goes there, then we are reborn. So what we have to do now, the third chance that we have, third opportunity we have is that, again, right, when you see something that is, for example, in the visualization practice, even the Tara that we did yesterday, you may or may not have realized it, but it is very important to visualize all the, this place has become Tara's pure land. Anyway, pure and impure is our concept. Right? So rather than have an impure concept of good and bad and desire, jealousy, everything is perfect. Everybody is Buddhas and Bodhisattva. Instead of saying he is ugly, she is good, he is ugly, my friend, I hate, I'm close, not so close. So all this concept, projecting. Everybody is Buddhas and Bodhisattva, equanimity. So if you're able to do that, then what happens is that when the Bardo comes, and then you can see so-called beautiful places or a beautiful, whatever people. If you see female, instead of desiring them as a female, rather transform them into a green Tara as a source of refuge. When you see male or your father, transform them into Avalokitesvara and see them as your guru. So as soon as you transform them into that, ordinary thought of attachment, desire doesn't come. So then you have ability to choose. Then you can say, oh, now if possible, may I be able to reborn Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Or at least in a place where, it says that, bless us to be without attachment and close the door of the womb. If possible, stop the being reborn in 6th realm. But if we have to be reborn, if possible, may it be in the blissful joy and field of profound joy. That is Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Or as a universal king or the pure Brahmin lineage. Something at least may I be reborn with a choice. So that is the time you have a choice, right? It's not only that time, but even now also. If you have a bit of, I wouldn't say, awareness of your desire and anger, you have a choice. You have a choice to be angry or not. You have a choice whether you want to go to shopping or not. If you're a shopaholic, you have no choice. If you're addicted, you have no choice, right? I always think that before, when I was younger, I used to feel that, Buddha has made so many rules for us, cannot do this, can't do that, so many. He's taking away our democratic right, Buddha Shakyamuni is not very good. But if you think about it, right, if you really think about it, I will say that the things that Buddha has taught us not to do, like a gambling, drinking, whatever, it is not taking away our freedom, but it's preserving our freedom. Once you become addicted, then you have lost your freedom. Your wife is crying, your children is crying, but you still have to go to, Sentosa, or I don't know, that sands, marinas, and you can't control, right? Doctor tells you have only, your liver is half gone, but still you have to drink. That is the time freedom is really gone. That is the biggest, the freedom is gone. So that is why anyway, something is may we have the freedom to, because you are not influenced by desire and so-called desire and has been recognized, that is the best. If not recognized, at least transform into pure. So that you have a choice. I want to have this or that, you have, right? Right now, because of desire, we don't have a choice. For example, there's so many apple, orange in you, but if you have a strong desire, you would not even see the orange, you only see the apple. This is what I want, green apple. I want to go to cappuccino. Cappuccino, with a certain, I don't know, sometimes I see in the movie whether it's true or not. Even for a cup of coffee, there's so much description you can put, Like, I want this and that, I think the person who makes coffee, they must be really expert, to remember all the order, just for a coffee. It's like, I don't know, I learned some new word, what is it, frappe, right? Latte, and so, just, it's actually, that coffee, whatever, is so good to you because of your desire. So you don't really have a choice. You cannot drink cappuccino if you like latte so much, right? So you have no choice. You have to drink, cappuccino. You have no freedom, basically, right? So anyway, if you have a little bit of, if possible, the recognition is the best. If not recognized, at least transformation, which through visualization. So may I be able to reborn according with your wish. And as soon as I reborn, may I remember our previous life, right? So those people who can remember their previous life is actually due to positive karma and the merit they've accumulated, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes again. And may we, through our efforts, quickly attain enlightenment by the power of the blessing of the victorious one and their son, by the power of the purity of nature of ultimate reality, by the power of the purity of our altruistic thought, may the wishes accordingly come true. So now, it is very much advisable that you should do this. First thing is you should recite the Bardo prayer quite often, together with Amitabha Buddha short prayer, the Ngwasar Sangye Nawatayada. In Amitabha Buddha prayer, there's a two, but Ngwasar Sangye is even more special because there was a great master called Tuku Mingyur Dorje. When he was 13 years old, he saw the entire Buddha of Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Amitabha Buddha himself is said to have, given this prayer to him, prayer to reborn. So that is why this you must do daily. Right? As I was saying yesterday, you must fulfill the three conditions. Believe in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So you will go there. Right? And secondly, see the qualities of the Buddha Pure Land, the way you can receive teaching, the way you can be guided, inspired. So you have the wish to go there instead of going to the bar or shopping mall, right? The mind. And thirdly is to pray to reborn there with the mind of the Bodhisattva, so that I can be reborn, practice, and be able to benefit all the sentient being. So that your prayer is, by the force of the Bodhisattva, merit is, a great amount of merit is accumulated. So this is something that you should do daily. And when the time of death comes, either for yourself or others, as we said yesterday, the three most important things are, now this life's dream is over, dream of family, dream of job, dream of success, dream of whatever, all the dreams are now ending.
next life dream, next movie starting. And there are different actors, different actresses, You can see, the same actors playing different roles. So similar like now next husband, next wife, I don't know, or you might be the wife now, You might get a husband. Yeah, definitely. Or even, whatever else. So anyway, most important is that this life dream is over, so don't be attached. Whatever you have, it anyway, whatever wealth you have, basically you have in your mind, ownership mind. So from the depth of my heart, I offer to enlightened Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Whatever negative deeds I have done, I purify. And I pray to reborn Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. And if you have some holy pills to give or to take, that is the time that you should definitely take. And then without fear, with full trust, Amitabha Buddha Pure, to go that, it's very important. And if you have too much people crying around you and all, is not really recommended. It doesn't help, It is more like person who cannot eat ice cream and you're just showing them like that. You want, What is that? And it's just the movies have made it look very romantic. I don't think it is really romantic, to die like that, right? So anyway, it's okay, but I think the focus should be more on the practice at that time, especially during that time. So welcome back to the practice session of Amitabha Buddha Changwa. So I was thinking that all of you could also join in the practice. So first we will be visualizing Buddha Amitabha in the front, in the mandala here. Buddha Amitabha in the middle, sitting on a lotus with 1,000 petals. His color is a red. And Buddha Amitabha hand is in equanimity position. Other than that, he's same like Buddha Shakyamuni. On the right side is the Avalokitesvara standing up. On the left side is the Vajrapani. Both are standing up, surrounded by thousands of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So with that as a visualizing clearly, then we'll recite the refuge and bodhicitta 3 times in all, and then 4 immeasurable 3 times, and then the pure land prayer 3 times, and then we will do the chanting of Amitabha Buddha. Yeah. So please visualize or invite the mandala of Buddha Amitabha, and then with the wish to take refuge for the sake of ourselves, who are also in the Bardo between life and death. We have to go through Bardo of death, Bardo of the intermediate stage, so that we may not get lost. We become aware of our own wisdom within our own emotions, and with the blessing of Buddha Amitabha, and for all other sentient beings who are in different sort of Bardo stages right now. So with that sort of motivation, we recite the refuge and bodhicitta 3 times in English. In the Buddha, Dharma, and the assembly of noble, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. From the merit of practicing, giving, etc., may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and assembly of nobles, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. From the merit of practicing, giving, etc., may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and assembly of noble ones, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. From the merit of practicing, giving, etc., may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. May all beings obtain happiness and be happy. May all remain free from sorrow and the cause of sorrow. May all never be separated from authentic happiness. May all remain in a state of equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. May all beings obtain happiness and be happy. May all remain free from sorrow and the cause of sorrow. May all never be separated from authentic happiness. May all remain in a state of equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. May all beings obtain happiness and be happy. May all remain free from sorrow and the cause of sorrow. May all never be separated from authentic happiness. May all remain in a state of equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. Next is the Amitabha Buddha, the Pure Land Prayer. Behold, Amitabha, the wonderful Buddha of limitless light, to his right the Lord of great compassion, and to his left the Bodhisattva of great power, surrounded by countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas,
Joy and happiness without limit is a Buddha land called Dewachen. May I be born there as soon as I pass from this life, without taking rebirth anywhere else in the meantime. Having been born there, may I see Amitabha's face. May the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 10 directions give their blessing, that this wish be accomplished without hindrance. Tayatha, Benza, Driya, Awa, Buddha, Naya, Soha. May all the victorious one and their sons of the 10 directions be mindful of me. I rejoice in those who have completed the true accumulations. All the merits I have accumulated in the past, present, and future, I offer to the three jewels, so that the doctrines of the victorious one may increase. Sharing this merit with all the sentient beings, may everyone without exception attain enlightenment. May this root merit a concentrated unity ripen in my mind, cleansing the two wheels and accomplishing wisdom and merit. May my life, health, and understanding increase. May we achieve 10 bhumis in this life. Immediately after this life, may I be reborn in a land of great bliss, miraculously born on a blooming lotus flower. May we achieve Buddhahood at that time. After enlightenment, may I emanate in order to guide all sentient beings in the pure realm of Dewachen. Resides the Lord Buddha Amitabha. It is a birthplace for those who make prayers or aspiration. May we be reborn in that best of realms. Now we will do a chanting with the tune for about 21 times, and then you guys have to do by yourself, and we have to do the more elaborate sadhanas. So when you are doing chanting, please be guided by two things: compassion, so that you can understand, we have to be compassionate to ourselves, because we are in the Bardo, and in this Bardo of life, Bardo of a dream-like life, yet we are so caught up in it. For us it is real. For us right now, even the very experience of having lunch this morning is a dream, yet it is so real to us. We hold on to it so much. And anyway, so similarly in the Bardo, and we hold on to so much, we never realize that nature of the phenomena. We don't realize the nature of our emotion. We don't realize that so-called fear and happiness is a projection of our own mind. We believe our own projection. We feel sad, happy, disappointed, etc., and accumulate a lot of negative cause and conditions. So compassionate to yourself, compassionate to all the mother sentient beings, compassionate to those who are in the different stages of Bardo, and with the supplication to Amitabha Buddha to help all of us, especially ourselves, when the time of death comes. And people who have already died also, they are going through tremendous fear, tremendous uncertainty, tremendous insecurity, helplessness, looking for a guidance. So remembering all of them, be motivated by that compassion. And as we recite the Om Ami Devare mantra, visualize it from Amitabha Buddha's heart comes a light, which purifies all the entire place and becomes Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. All the sentient being here becomes Buddhas and Bodhisattva, and and purifies all the negative deeds of the body, speech, minds are purified, and transform into Avalokitesvara. Yes, Avalokitesvara. And then, so with that sort of visualization, purifying the place, purifying all the sentient being of their negative deeds of body, speech, and mind, compassionate to the beings of six realms with this kind of thought. And sometimes focusing on Amitabha Buddha, sometime, so today you all should practice like that. And I remember one of my friends, she's a hedge fund. So first time she came to Ladakh, that time she was very new to Buddhism. So she met one of the senior practitioner from French called Lama Namgyal. So she said to him, he asked him, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm an investment, hedge investor." And he said, "Oh, now it's time to invest in your next life." So this is, I think, today is that investment. So please, be diligent. So till now, we have been doing a more elaborate version of what you did. For example, inviting the Buddha, visualizing oneself as the Avalokitesvara, and then the mandala of Amitabha Buddha, and then inviting Amitabha Buddha and Avalokitesvara from the Pure Land and dissolving into what we visualize, and doing offering, Gana Chakra, purification, etc. And now with the mandala is, all the practitioners have, visualized oneself as Avalokitesvara. And then mandala Amitabha Buddha is, is open. Then we do the Tsautu, the next is the Changwa. So Changwa, that big letter Ni represents the human form. Each of the 6 realms have a letter which symbolizes them. Om Mani Padme Hung. So Om Mani, Ni represents the human realm. So it is, when we do the, we call it the, kind of bringing the consciousness. So it is said that if you, read the meaning of the prayer, by the truth of the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha, Guru, Dakha and Dakini, all the diseased sentient beings' consciousness, wherever they are in the 6th realm, immediately by the truth of the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, may they come and dissolve into the letter Ni. So it is said that regardless of the practitioner being highly realized or not, because you are evoking the blessing and the truth of the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha, consciousness will definitely, come, that is for sure. And whether you are able to benefit or not depends. If possible, you should have the quality of, highly realized quality, realize your own nature of the mind. That is the best quality. If not, at least devotion to your own Guru and a great genuine compassion to the one who is going through so much of difficulty, fear, uncertainty. At least, these qualities are minimum. Without that, you really can't help. So anyway, that is the represent. And this white cloth represents the path to liberation. And there are 6, 6 pictures. Each pictures represent the 6th realm. And also in the Guru the Master will have the 6 pictures of the 6 different Buddhas, which means that by the blessing of this Buddha, negativities you have accumulated from anger, may they be purified, and may you be liberated from being born in the hell realm. So that Buddha's blessing is given to the diseased sentient beings, and then the white clothes is rolled over, signifying that you have been liberated from the hell realm, and etc., the 6th realm. So tradition is that if you have, generally for all of us, especially if you have a family member who have passed away, then tradition is that each time when with the rolls, you should do 3 prostration with the intention that to Buddha, Amitabha and all the Bodhisattva, whatever negative deed to myself, my deceased family, and all the sentient beings have done from anger, may they be purified and may I be liberated from the being born in the hell realm, and do 3 prostrations. And then the next time it is rolled, again prostration about the anger, miserliness is the hungry ghost, ignorance, animal realm, desire, human realm, jealousy, the demigod realm, pride, the god realm. So 6 realms, we pray to Buddha Amitabha. Each Buddha's blessings purifies the 6 realms. So these are the, then is that. And then together with that, we usually do something called, the washing the deceased beings, purifying them. So this, before the purification we do toward the disease, first we offer a wash to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And it is said very clearly that we don't wash because Buddhas are dirty. It is said very clearly, you don't need to be washed, but by the merit of gesture of washing you, may negative deed we have committed, may they be purified. So that is why we offer water to Buddha. And then the water which is left over Buddha's, the wash, and that we visualize, with that we wash away the negative deeds of all the sentient beings, especially the diseased beings are rubbed away. And then after that, after that will be the 6th realm, liberating the beings from each realm. And then after that we recite the Bardo prayer, and then we do the prostration, if you want that also. Then after that, teaching is given to the deceased being also, same teaching. For example, the deceased being, you must be so sad, your precious body for which you have done so many power yoga is have to be left behind. Your friend, family has left behind, now have to go because of anger, because of desire. So much of, desire, reflection of desire is happiness. Reflection of anger is, the suffering. Right? Happiness and suffering is a reflection of anger and desire. Because of that, you must be going through so much thinking.
No matter what you think, there's not much benefit. There's no benefit. And not only, even if there's benefit, the samsara is endless. How many times you have got married, divorced, millenary, pauper, animal, or how many things. You have become king of universe, round and round. Now is time to stop. Only thing that will help you now is remember the Guru, Guru and inseparable from Guru, Buddha Amitabha, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. From depth of your heart, take refuge in the outer Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Take refuge in your own Buddha nature, the mind, and have a wish to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. And with that, refuge in bodhicitta vows are given to the deceased beings. And then initiation also, Amitabha Buddha's initiation is also given. Then we advise the deceased being to transform them into Avalokiteswara and give them the Amitabha Buddha's initiation of body, speech and mind. And then after that is the giving food. So food also the same. First you offer to Amitabha Buddha's Bodhisattva, and by the blessing of offering to them, may you get the merit to consume them. So usually the foods are burned. Then after that is the we call the poa, transferring the consciousness. So then it is visualized that all the deceased beings, in the form of Amitabha Buddha, with the master, with the visualization, with his visualization and the word pat, the consciousness from here immediately goes directly into Amitabha Buddha's pure land and dissolve into Amitabha Buddha's heart. So that is the consciousness. And after that, then I don't know today whether we are allowed to burn here. Maybe you should burn. I think burning outside. Traditionally, you burn the paper. So burning paper represents that we are born into human realm or samsara because of the 5 aggregates, which are result of 5 negative emotion, anger, jealousy, etc. So which are burned away by the wisdom, recognizing the nature of the negative emotion, which are the wisdom. So that is one significance. And second significance is so that there's nothing left to get attached to. As I was saying yesterday or to this morning, we can get attached to very funny things. Sometimes you go to an event and you choose a seat, and when you come back from toilet, somebody sitting on your seat, also you get upset, right? Actually, it doesn't belong to you, but oh my, right? So sometimes you can get attached to very funny things also, we human beings. So there's nothing left to hold you back. Rather, you should go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, and then we do the dedication and recite the deceased beings by name, and dedicate all the merits of offering mandala to Guru Buddha Amitabha, Gana Chakra, whatever. And then the sautu is usually done like that. Okay, so all of you should join with the devotion to Buddha Amitabha, compassion towards the beings who are going through tremendous fear, insecurity, and then join in the prayer.